Hey there, media leaders. This is Josh Oakes. In this video, I want to highlight some LinkedIn tips for everyone, especially those that want to work in the fashion industry, those that want to be professionals. We're going to use a dear friend of mine as an example, and we're really going to dive into a few things. Now, first things first, you should be asking, Josh, what are we going to focus on in this video? Hey, great question. What's our focus? Well, rule number one, you should be asking is, does Josh know anything? Is he an expert? I am not an expert. Rule number one. I am definitely somebody that's tried and true, worked really hard on figuring this out for my own company. When I ran for politics, I had to quickly win over people with my story. I'm going to show you a couple techniques that I use for my clients and in politics to help people quickly understand what my story is so they want to hire me or have me consult for them, or at least listen to and invite me in for a meeting. What's our focus for this video, Josh? Great question. First of all, everyone looks at your LinkedIn page. Don't be saying to yourself, no one looks at my LinkedIn page. Your LinkedIn profile is like a pair of shoes, I like to say. It's the first place a person looks to get an idea of how well put together you are. And I bring up shoes because I used to say, oh, these shoes are fine. But then I realized girls are looking at my shoes first. They see I'm not really well put together. So if you send a resume out, or if people land on your website, they're going to go look at your LinkedIn profile because it's very SEO friendly, and they're going to check out, well, does it match up? So don't say, oh, I never update my LinkedIn page to me, because that's not a good excuse. It's going to turn people away. And I'm here to motivate you to update your LinkedIn page because I care about you. And yeah. So let's keep moving. We are going to focus on how to make you more marketable, you as a professional, okay? Stop thinking about, oh, I'm really good at all these services. No, let's market you as a person and get you put together. I'm going to show you a couple tactical tips. LinkedIn is going to become your new resume and a place that you can point employers, clients, and everyone else when you're selling yourself and or your brand. Now, I own a company, but I've interviewed over 100 times. And I did not know what I wanted to do for a very long time, so I got really good at selling myself, and now I know how to help companies sell themselves, which became what I'm going to show you now, which I'm really excited about. All right, let's concentrate on this person here. I have a dear friend named Denise. She's in the fashion industry. That's not her. This is her. She sends out this awesome PDF that talks about herself. She's really good at selling herself, very fashionable. That's not her either. I think that's somebody else. But Denise is really good with a little company called Courtesan. Now, she's interviewing for a very big company, and they have a position for head of marketing. I'm going to call it manager of marketing because I like that term. But we're going to look at Denise's profile here real quick. I'm going to offer her a couple, and I absolutely adore Denise. She's been incredible. She cooked dinner for my friend and I. She's just an outstanding person. I'm going to give her a couple makeover tips. Even though I adore her, we're gonna fix her up so she gets this job. Next, we're gonna compare it to my profile. Now, Josh, what do you know about LinkedIn? You know what? I don't know anything. I just know how to get people to call me because they go, hey, I saw your LinkedIn and I really want you to advise our company. So everything you're going to see from me, I don't claim to be an expert. I claim to be the guy that unfortunately had to be the underdog, that had to write his summary in a way that people liked, that then had, I also interviewed at Google a long time ago, or tried to, and I had a big Google VP spend so much time with me on how to write my profile that I'm giving you all the tips. Okay. Let's jump on into it and look at Denise. Let me show you Denise's profile first. Now, Denise calls herself founding partner at Courtesan Studio, but she wants to work for another company now because it's just the right fit for her career. So I advised her, I said, Denise, rule number one, let's do this. Let's find the exact position name that you're interviewing for, and let's say that that is your position at the company that you own, but don't tell people that you own the company. Pretend like the company is a platform that you work at. So I recommended to her either be head of marketing at Courtesan Studio, or even better, manager of marketing at Courtesan Studio, or director. You don't ever want to be above, and you want to be a little bit humble there and very equal. The goal here, and what we're going to talk about, is that a client or an employer potentially needs to see that you fit that slot so well that you don't have to be anybody else. You're already that. People, when they hire, they want to make sure that you hit the ground running and you are just such a natural. So our goal here is that Denise's natural inhibitions come out on her LinkedIn profile, because guess what? People look at this first. So she should be manager of marketing at Courtesan Studio. Doesn't need to say that she owns it. if she wants to, we're going to walk through that in a second. 116 connections. She needs to get up to 500 or more, because then after that, it looks like it's 100% full. It doesn't show anything after 500. I have about 6,000, and it only shows 500 plus. Okay, next. Let's go down to her image. Her image looks really great. She's very fashionable. If she looks at the LinkedIn profile of the person she's interviewing with, and the style or the reputation of the brand she's interviewing with, if they're a little bit more conservative or traditional, then I suggested maybe she could have something that's just a little bit more conservative, headshot forward instead of the back. But Denise is a gorgeous person, and also this might be the right fit in their industry. I think she looks great, but just something to consider. Next, I want her to go in and click edit on this LinkedIn so that it says linkedin.com/in/Denise and her last name. And the reason for that is then you can include that in the footer of all of your emails, so that when you're emailing people, it says connect with me on LinkedIn. You can read about that in my book, but if I compose an email, it says connect with me on LinkedIn. Do you see that right there? Boom. And that way I build thousands of LinkedIn connections over the course of a year without ever having to think about it. People are always LinkedIning with me. Okay, great. Now, next, summary. This is a great opportunity for you to write a handwritten letter, or obviously handwritten, but an email type of, maybe an introduction, like a cover letter saying, hi, I'm Denise. I work so hard and really love being a designer in the luxury style and brand industry as a consultant, and I grew up doing this, this, and this, and found this to be helpful. Now, I take a unique approach there. You don't have to be like me. You have to find your own groove here. I write this, rather than saying I'm an expert, I say, here's how I work. I believe the people around you are like buttons on an elevator. They either take you up or take you down. That's why I've surrounded myself with some of the brightest minds I can find, so we can make a difference in all that we accomplish. Number one, and I love bulleting things. I give it to them straight, and people either love it or hate it. Most of them love it. I'm a big believer in working hard to keep things simple. Boom, I believe there's a win-win. Boom, I get things done, and I believe in old school marketing, specialties that I'd love to speak on. So people know that when they hire me, they're hiring my team and myself. And that's why I show how I run my team. So that summary is an opportunity for you. Now, Denise could walk through, and we have this document from Denise that she wrote that's really awesome. This is a great example. She did such a good job of introducing herself visually, which I love, and she could take part of this and drop it in. We might... It says that it's a mind-blowing privilege to create positive social impact through my work. Let's remove this, the mind-blowing. I don't think an employer cares about your mind-blowing stuff, even though I think it's great to do that. Only talk in terms of how the employer can realize that you're the right fit for the job at hand. So, once again, luxury style and brand marketing expert, spokeswoman, brand ambassador, you are a manager of marketing. Oh yeah, and I do some sales too, because I really had to wear a lot of hats, but this is what I did day in and day out to fit the bill to do this in this little company. Let me talk to you about specifics, and then jump in. And this is your intro right here, and we'll make it more and more specific. So that's rule number one. Boom, that's easy to jump in. You can also keep in there, but let's remove the founding partner. People get afraid of those that think that they have to jump away and run off on their own. And even clients like to see that you run a team, So if you want to work for an employer, don't put the word founder too much, because sometimes I get a little afraid. I hire a lot of people, and they work in my firm from time to time, and I know this firsthand. Next, experience. Let me show you what Google taught me. Now, you've got founding partner. We're going to turn that into manager of marketing or manager of marketing. I don't like putting marketing and sales in there, because marketing and sales are like sweet and sour. They are two very different things when you really get down into it. Sales, so sales is a division of marketing, and you can't put them together. They're kind of apples and oranges. So if you can say a manager of marketing and part-time sales rep, you could say that. Or you could say I did a lot of sales when I was manager of marketing because I really want to get in front of the customer. That's a good thing too. So we're going to work on that. Next, let me show you what some people at Google taught me. It's really awesome. Let's do this. Okay. I was West Coast manager of marketing and business development at... now, that's kind of like sales, but it's a little bit different. I probably could remove that, but I run my own company now, so I'm using that keyword. But I would, as I interview for other companies, West Coast manager of marketing, boom, done. Gordon Brothers Group, but look how I did this. This is everything that I wrote. I want you to read this carefully. Gordon Brothers Group is on one. The first blurb talks about the firm, which makes me look impressive. The next blurb talks about my accomplishments there. Everyone can steal this. I want you to take this format and run with it. Gordon Brothers Group is a 100-plus-year-old private equity firm that purchases and restructures over $50 billion in troubled assets and retail brands. Holy crap, 100-plus years, $50 billion, very clear and understandable. If you're in that industry, you go, darn. I haven't heard of them, but they're impressive. Now, let's read through what I have. While working at this company and traveling to their Long Island, New York, and Boston offices, I learned the importance of cash flow. Many of our clients were overextended on their leases, and their retail performance was dropping quickly. We helped very large companies to negotiate out of their lease and to help improve cash flow by closing on blah, blah, blah. This taught me how to look at real estate as an investment and showed me the value of good retail location for a brand. Holy smokes. So now I realize this is what the whole company did, and this is what Josh did. I've got some recommendations there, 2 of them. Let's look at this. This is a manager of marketing. In fact, Marcus Buckingham is a British-American New York Times best-selling author, researcher, motivational speaker, and business consultant, best known for what he calls strengths, for promoting strengths. And I write out a story about how I met Marcus. It's actually quite a good story about he never called me back. And I was so persistent that one day he called me one day and said, I really need a persistent person to help me with a project, and there's your phone number a year later. Long story short, I put it in there. Next, assistant brand marketing associate at Disney Studios. Look at the blurb in the beginning. I talk about Disney. Disney's the largest media and entertainment conglomerate in the world with revenues of $36.1 billion. And then check this out. Disney was a wonderful experience for me. I worked closely with 7 departments and managed all areas of DVD projects from start to finish. My boss would set the stage for production, and I would assist in all meetings to track creative, operations, financials, promotions, and media. I negotiated from outside vendors. And then I got a blurb from one of my bosses. Normally it would be a built-in recommendation. I got a blurb from a boss that says, and I'm tying this into Denise. Denise has a lot of these. Watch this. Denise has some great testimonials of fashion blogger, stylist, Huffington Post writer, and Mike Allen, who's another mutual friend, really impressive photographer in New York. You need some photography, you call Mike Allen. He's amazing. Okay, so let's get back to this just real quick. I put Josh is eager, persistent, positive, and well, people just like him. Gosh darn, that's so nice. So I had enough room to put that in there, which was kind of nice. And the reason I did that is I had enough. I said what the company does, I said what I learned, and I threw that in there. Normally, I'd recommend you not do that. And the reason I threw that in there is because I didn't want to ask my old boss years later when I was updating this, hey, would you mind going in there and giving me the same recommendation? Because that's a little awkward. She gave it to me in a cover letter. I don't want to ask her to do anymore, so I dropped it in. Next, because I've done a great job of talking about what I didn't have to seed it full of all these crazy keywords. People find me and they see the linked. If you do it my way, you're going to get this happens. Look, 99 plus people have suggested me for social media marketing. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just really good at doing the nuts and bolts on LinkedIn, and people seem in my speeches say that I'm good at that. Next, education. Look at this. The dean of the business school wrote a letter of rec for me. I dropped it in. As a student in my classes, Josh stood out. Awesome. And a bunch of other stuff. Okay, honors and awards, I put some of those down here. It's all in line with the companies that I would interview with. 2013 candidate for private pilot's license. Actually, I probably got to move that to 2014. I'm really slow on getting my pilot's license. Team captain for this, and these are leadership things. A local program that increases community participation through a group project, implemented a new road safety program. This is light, bright, and polite. That means anything you put on your LinkedIn should not seem like it is a distraction from keeping your mind on the prize, which is helping a company be profitable and effective. So don't sit here and think that, oh, I traveled through Europe for 12 weeks to find myself. Not appropriate here. How were you effective and how were you profitable? Hermosa Beach City Council candidate, part-time position, and all that stuff. Now, I've got a ton of recommendations. I've got a part of my book that shows you how to get them. and I want you to go in and work on trying to get those as well. Let's go look back over to Denise. So Denise can say manager of marketing at Courtesan Studio, and Courtesan Studio, she can do a blurb about Courtesan Studio and be humble about it. The more clear you are, the more employer likes it. Everybody BS's employers and clients. This is our opportunity to be clear, honest, and concise, light, bright, and polite, so that an employer can go, darn, well, this person is just straight up. I kind of like it. So you can say Courtesan Studio showcases, how about it's a small boutique based in New York City with the idea that, and don't get too buzzwordy, the idea that we want to make affordable, really fun, cool stuff. I don't know, whatever. And then go, here's what I got to do. And don't make it too overwhelming. Remember, your story needs to be bite-sized and understandable. It can't be your superwoman or Superman. You got to be very clear. This is what I had the honor to learn, and this is what over the 2 years I really developed is this way as a person and stuff. And that's your 6 sentences. Same thing, business consultant. Maybe we can change to less marketing consultant, maybe, and this company. And then we can say 1 sentence about what the company does and 6 sentences about what Denise did. Same thing, investor relations and executive administration. Maybe we can change that up a little. Investor relations. Maybe we could do some marketing, customer. Once again, I'm getting a theme here. Customer service and executive administration. And we just want it to make sense. December 2005, let's say what the SCA group did in 1 blurb, and so on, lifestyle. You guys are getting the idea. Once you write out what you did with not too much buzzwords, all of a sudden, and then you also work on a couple other things I've already taught you, this skills and expertise blows up if you just use my old school stuff. Once again, it takes everything for a delicious cake to happen. With funfetti. Here's why. Oh, my friends cook with funfetti, by the way. That's one of their ingredients that goes on the top of a cake, and Denise knows our mutual friends that cook on funfetti. But here's one of the techniques. If you have a recipe, you can't skimp out on one certain part of the recipe. You're going to get a very badly tasting cake. So what I'd recommend to Denise is include this in the bottom of her email, and it should say LinkedIn, like mine does, in and all that stuff, and you can click edit on your page if you want to see how to do that. I have another video. But you get the idea, the honors and awards. Let's get more recommendations. One last tip that I have for Denise is to go join a lot of very on-topic groups. Josh, why should I join groups? I don't need to do. Now, if you ever come to me and say, why, then you're missing the point that I don't, because I see a year down the line for you. I want you to be successful, and watch this. You're going to say, Josh, that's a lot of groups. But it's because I see the long-term groups. I've got 50 of these darn things. In fact, I've got so many that I run out, 53 more. The reason you join groups, and I have a whole nother video, is because you can connect with people in that group and be seen without needing their email address. And once you connect with them, you can reach out to them. So I've got a ton of different groups. They need to be on topic. Denise should not join one that says wild and fun girls at drink in NYC. It should be very professional and light, bright, and polite. Okay, that is a really fun overview of a bunch of the tactical tips that I've found helpful. Now, once again, if some of them aren't the right fit for you, I totally understand, but I think these would be really great for Denise. Let's work on that summary. Let's work on what we call ourselves so that we're easily sold. In fact, if Denise walked into that interview and her LinkedIn became the just a very clear picture of who she is with a marketing manager in mind, then all of a sudden she's just herself, and the marketing manager goes, hey, you don't even have to sell yourself. I looked at your LinkedIn. I've seen what you've done. Your story is so concise and well put together. You've sold yourself, which means you can sell our brand. And that's really my goal for you guys. And that's the limited amount of knowledge I have in social media. But you should buy my book anyways. And so anyways, hope you enjoyed this. Denise is doing a great job. She's a wonderful person, and she can use some of this other stuff in her PDF. I recommend it to her. Look at your LinkedIn because everyone else is. And if I Google Denise, her LinkedIn comes up first. And also, other people are comparing her resume to her LinkedIn. So you better make sure those are the same. All right. If you have any more questions, you guys can comment or like this video, please. Please subscribe to this if you like it. I'd like to give you more stuff. Also, if you want to buy Light, Bright, and Polite, you go to MediaLeaders.com, and it really helps me out if you buy it on Kindle. If you've enjoyed this video, you can click MediaLeaders.com, click on our book. You'll learn more about Light, Bright, and Polite, and you can buy it on Kindle right on this page. And if you feel that it deserves 5 stars, I would be honored. If you feel that it merits it, be honored to get 5 stars from you. My name is Josh Oakes. I'm really honored that you watched this video about LinkedIn. And I hope you are able to use these techniques in the future. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.